Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you. I know this was a last minute thing and I didn't give that much notice, but there's something I wanted to go over with each and every one of you. And I just want to start by saying shalom to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Please get those likes up. And, your support is deeply appreciated. We have been seeing so many articles, y'all, the articles that they're putting out about the Black community is like off the charts. I don't recall us being talked about so much, probably since the civil rights. They don't talk about us like this. But if you notice, we are grabbing the headlines like never before. And each and every day I go out there, I see us mentioned in articles. I see us mentioned all around social media. I see us mentioned in regards to a war that we had nothing to do with starting, a war that has been in the making for decades. But the focus seems to continue to be on us. And you're asking why, and they keep giving explanations, but y'all, their explanations are really not making that much sense. Now, one of the things I heard was, oh, well, we were out there with you with Black Lives Matter. But y'all, if you go back, everybody was out there during the time when George Floyd was killed. A lot of the country was still on lockdown. So when people took to the street, remember, a lot of them weren't out there worried about BLM. A lot of them were out there because they wanted to get out of the house for a while. Okay. They just wanted to get out of the house. They weren't concerned about us. So it was everybody out there. It wasn't just them. It was um Latinos, it was white people, it was Asians out there. It was a little mixture of everybody. Nobody can make the claim that they were out there for us in the biggest way. Not even these folks. They can't make that claim either. It was a mixture of everyone. So, also, I want to talk about the civil rights movement because that's come up a lot. Let me just stop this right here. The civil rights movement. So what I did was I went out and I start looking at the footage again because these folks are talking like it was a whole army of them out there marching with black folks during the civil rights movement, and it simply is not true. It's not true at all. You got to really look at the crowd. Now, I'm showing you this first picture for a reason. When you look at the crowd, ladies and gentlemen, here's my observation. You see how he got a pen and pad? These are reporters. There were a lot of white reporters mixed up in the crowd, and what they were doing was interviewing the people they were marching alongside with. And you see white people with cameras around their necks. These are the press. That's the press. All right. So it's kind of deceptive when you listen to them talk, but you go back and look at the actual footage. So you see a lot of white reporters mixed in the crowd, and you could see they got their notepads out. They're walking along with the civil rights movement. You know, the people that were out there marching, and they're taking notes because they're interviewing those people as they're walking with them, right? And then you see a few, maybe not even a handful. You might see 2 to 3 Jews walking along with Dr. King. But there are also Catholic priests. If you look real close, there's Catholic priests, there's white pastors, there's some Jews, maybe 2 to 3 Jews. And that's it. The vast majority of them that were walking with Dr. King. They weren't walking mixed up in the crowds. You got to really go back and look and observe. It is kind of deceptive. When you see the white reporters out there, you think, oh, well, those are people walking. No, they're not. They're just getting stories for their jobs. That's what they're doing. They're not showing support at all. They had a job to do. That's why they were out there. So when you really look at the grand scheme of things, nobody was out there bigger than the black crowd. Nobody. So just because a handful of them were in the crowd, and the vast majority of the ones that were there were right by Dr. King on the front line, I mean, these folks keep talking like they were out there, like no other group was out there with us. It is a damn lie. It's a lie. My people, please go and look at the footage again. They weren't out there like that for us. They weren't. This stuff that's being said in the media is being greatly exaggerated. It is being greatly exaggerated. And I wouldn't doubt if you put it in their faces, these reporters that are in the crowd taking a story, they'll probably tell you those are supporters. Those aren't supporters. Those are people doing their job. So I'm going to show you some more still shots from footage that I wrote, that I took. All right, in this piece, right, these are all black people. This guy stooping down right here, that's the only white guy that was in this crowd. Right here, he's bent over. All right, let's look at some more still shots. All right, so here you got a few. Yeah, this is a guy on crutch. This is a guy right here carrying a flag. Another one right here carrying a flag, right? But that's still not a lot of them, is it? It's not a lot. This is what I'm trying to show you. All right, let's look again. And it's like this virtually on all the footage. They are not out there overwhelmingly like us. You see one right here, and he's talking to Dr. King. All right. Some of these people had recorders, some had notepads and pens, some had cameras around their necks, but they're interviewing. They're not supporting, they're interviewing. Civil rights was huge back then. So that was a big story. So, all these media outlets were trying to get the big stories. And you can see Dr. King just going back, which if you watch the footage, you'll see Dr. King going back and forth. You can clearly tell he's being interviewed. This is not a supporter. This is somebody getting an interview from him. All right, y'all, really pay attention. Don't fall for everything that's being said to us out here. This is the point I'm making. Don't fall for everything being said, because they're trying to give you an illusion of all these people being in support, when in fact that was not the case. It was not overwhelmingly the case at all. All right. So, yeah, when you watch the footage, him and King are talking back and forth. You can clearly tell this is an interview he's getting from Dr. King as he's walking with him. All right, let's go on. All right, so here. Now, as you can see in this picture, yes, you see some Jews, but you see Catholic priests are in here. There are Catholic priests. There's one, you can see part of his head here, here. You see a black man, he's a Catholic priest. It's a mixture of these people, clergy there. And it was a mixture of them. It was not just one group out here that were the clergy and they walked with Dr. King. Yeah, they were there, but how many do you really see? Two, three, maybe? That's it. Okay, let your eyes tell the real story. But, like I said, there were all kinds of clergy out there from different um, religious nominations. They were all out there. It wasn't just the ones that keep shouting us down saying that we were there walking with you side by side. There were a lot of clergy out there. Clergy from black churches, clergy from white churches. It was a mixture. It was not all of them folks. And that's it. Now, how many do your eyes see? Maybe two? Because this is a Catholic priest right here. He got the collar on. Okay, he got a collar on. You can identify him. This one got a collar on. This one got a priest collar. You can identify them just from looking at the picture. It wasn't that many. If you listen to the media and listen to these folks on social media putting these videos out saying, you're not standing with us, you're not doing this, and you're not doing that. And when you go back and look at the footage, it was no big army of these folks out there. These folks probably represented their synagogues that were out there in the Catholic churches that they belonged to, or whatever Christian church they belonged to. It was a mixture of all of them. They right. Ayo Carter, they were never the majority out in the crowd. I don't know what the hell these people are talking about. So, my question is, did you go out there because you really cared about black people? Or were you out there because you just needed to make your side look like you were supporting when you really weren't? You really weren't supporting at all. And as far as them dying during civil rights, let me tell you something. Our people died in every war this country had. Every single war we fought and died in America. We fought and died in World War II. We took part in liberating the Jews in Germany in different concentration camps, because all the concentration camps were not in Germany. There were some in Austria, and other countries. We liberated. We took part in their liberation. Okay. So I don't want to hear about two people that died during civil rights and we done fought in all these damn wars. I don't want to hear it. Okay. Trust me. We, listen to me now, ladies and gentlemen, we have died for other people's causes a hell of a lot more than they have died for ours. Let me repeat that again. We have died for other people's causes a hell of a lot more than they died for ours. And that is a fact. Okay. The few that you saw were always very close around Dr. Martin Luther King. And you don't see that many at all. You might see again two to three. Two to three. And then you may see some sprinkled in the crowds, and really take a look at those that are sprinkled in the crowd, because a lot of times those are white reporters, y'all. They're white reporters from different news organizations, different newspapers, different magazines. And I'm not saying many, some of them weren't out on their own. I'm sure there were, but it was not an overwhelming amount of them out there like that. Okay, so you see our people right here, our forefathers that were out there in the streets. And then you see like the back of these reporters. You see a mic there, you see a reporter there, you see another reporter. These people were out there, of course they were. Again, you see them getting a story, not walking with us like in solidarity. And number two, don't these people still act like our overseers? So any march we do, of course they gonna come out. They still think there are overseers. Yeah, they gonna be there. They want to look at what's going on. They want to hear what the crowds are saying, because this is what they do when it comes down to us. That's not support, right? That's right. Miss Skilled Gamer, yeah, they come to infiltrate. They're not coming to support, they're coming to infiltrate. So, don't be quick to believe all this chatter about how much they've been out in the streets supporting us, y'all. Don't believe the hype because a lot of it, that's exactly what it is. It's overblown hype. That's all it is. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Start pulling up the footage from the civil rights and let me know if they're overwhelmingly out there like that. They're not. I don't care what footage you look at. They are not. You know who you see the biggest bulk of white people? The ones that were opposing and throwing the bricks and the rocks and the bottles and screaming obscenities and screaming racial slurs. Those were the overwhelming size of the white crowd. Okay, it was. But as far as being within us protesting, y'all stop believing everything these folks say. Stop believing it. You know, the bottom line is these folks, they need us on their side. It's a very spiritual thing. When we're around, everything turns out right for them. When we're not around, it falls apart. Okay? Now, some people, oh, it's a moral thing. No, actually, it's a spiritual thing. And they know it's a spiritual thing too. It's a spiritual thing, y'all. Having us around, they were able to rise to the top and have all the things that they have to this very day with our presence around them. To this day, I have never seen these same people come out in the media saying, "Where is the Latino support?" We don't see the Latinos giving us support. You know why? Because it's our support that counts. Our support is the only one that counts. You notice they're not coming in the media or nowhere on social media saying, "Where's the Asians?" The Asians are not with us. How come the Asians are not supporting us? Or the East Indians, where are you? Where's the East Indians? Where's your support? No, they're only coming after one group. Now, y'all, I don't know how true this is. Tread lightly with this one. You know how they're talking, "Oh, we're gonna," what Michael Rappaport said, "We're having meetings behind doors about black people not showing them support." Remember, he said that on one of his videos. Some of you might have seen it. Y'all have been doing that the entire time. That's how we're being sabotaged because y'all going behind the scenes having meetings and then coming out and sabotaging us. You've been doing that all along. That ain't no scare talk. Scaring who? Okay, they've been doing that all along. They're doing that in politics. Why do you think nothing ever gets done for us? Because they're going behind the scenes having meetings, trying to figure out ways to give to everybody but us. They've been doing that forever. So, Michael Rappaport, you're scaring no one with that talk. Y'all been doing that. Okay. Just like we see how this whole criminal justice system works, where we can't get no justice. Yeah, you know why? Because they done went behind the scenes and worked out how they were going to sabotage us through the entire system, deny us justice. They already met and had talks about it. and continue to do so. Make sure the laws apply to everybody except for us. The laws all of a sudden don't apply when it's us. So one of the things I heard, and this is just a rumor, y'all, don't take this one to the bank, that they were going to try to figure out ways to get black people fired from jobs for not showing support. But the way I see it, y'all, even if that were the case, that's easy. If they fire you for any non-job related reason, that's an easy win in civil court. I'm just telling you, that's an easy win. Okay? But yeah, you can best believe they're scheming and scamming behind the scenes because they feel we're not out here for them in a big way. But as you can see from the civil rights footage, they were never out there for us in a big way. They are exaggerating big time. When you look at that footage, they were not out there in a huge way for us at all. Okay. So just tread lightly. Don't take all this stuff they're out in the media saying to heart, and don't believe all the hype that's coming out against us. A lot of it is largely fabricated, big time, just like it always is. It's like when the Asians were trying to get their crime bill, they fabricated all these attacks that we were doing on them. Anytime they want to come after us, they got to always make some fakery up. So, y'all, that's all I had to say today. Please make sure you like the video, share the video, and y'all just continue to do what you're doing. When you see them coming out over and over in the media, running their mouth about us not supporting them in a big way, well, now you can say, I went back to the footage of civil rights. Y'all weren't out there in no big way. And they weren't. They weren't. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Please enjoy the rest of your day. And I do have another live stream coming up at 12:30. So hopefully you will all be there. Shalom, family.